Hello, my friends. It's the Crypto Lunatic live from the Lunar Café, bringing you hidden gems before they pop and simplifying the language of crypto for newcomers. And today I'm asking the question, are we about to go into a bear market? Is it doom and gloom, my friends? Because there's plenty of voices that are voicing doom and gloom. So today is going to be a historic educational journey of previous cycles and previous pullbacks to give you a broader context of where we might be in the market. Now, like any of my content, this is definitely not financial advice, and I am not psychic. All I'm doing here is reporting history. I am not going to predict the future. I will suggest where I stand, but that means nothing in the bigger picture of things because I am not Nostradamus, my friends. I do not manipulate markets myself, and my opinion is only that. So, with this in mind, my lunatic friend, join me on a little journey into the lunatic world of crypto. So, here we are. Let's start on CoinMarketCap. Now, look at this. This is the first time I've seen any green today, quite honestly. It is brutal. Brutal, my friends. Look at all this red. Red everywhere. Bleeding out. Panic in the market. Look at that, a 7-day retrace on SUI. Some will be looking at this and thinking, get out. Some might be going, I wonder what's had the biggest retrace. Let's have a look at the 7-day retrace and see that Morpho's doing all right. That's the only, it seems to be the only cryptocurrency outside of the stable coins that seems to have fared okay in the last 7 days. But generally, look at this. FET. Now, this is something I've talked about. I'm looking at things like this and thinking that, my friends, is a phenomenal entry point. Phenomenal entry point. But of course, I could be wrong. We could be going down further. But um, this is what I'm looking at. Artificial superintelligence, massive drawback. Now, that is a good entry point. That is a good price. It's a good price. Look at all of these cryptos like optimism being absolutely rinsed. Is this a good entry point? Well, some will be looking at great entry points, some will be looking at massive panic. One thing I can definitely tell you is that Pump.Fun is now trading below what the VC's got in it. That this is phenomenal value, Pump.Fun. But again, before I start talking about potential bargains, let's talk about where the market is. Because we could go down further. There could be a flush out. So I've asked this question today, my friends. I've asked this question. Let me move myself over here. So in previous crypto bull markets, what percentage did Bitcoin retrace before the main pump upwards? Now, I've asked this to 3 different search engines today so that you've got a broad context because we don't know what timeline it's going to take on this. So you can read that if you want, but let's just get to the nitty gritty. So the bull market cycle, major retracement. So in April 2013, a 78% retrace. 2013 from the $13 low in January to $1,242 peak. That was the retrace. So after an initial rise to 259, Bitcoin corrected sharply to $50 over days. Now look at this. One day they're sitting on $2.59. In a couple of days, it's down to $50 amid market volatility. This mid-cycle event preceded the main parabolic pump, $100 in October to over 1,200 by the end of the year. Pullbacks during this cycle, 34%. Now let's have a little reminder. Look at these are the big pullbacks, 42, blah, blah, blah. Big pullbacks during this period. So let's go back. 2017 to 2016, 40% pullback. You can read that if you want. 2021, 50 to 55% pullback. Now, I talk a lot about this. If you cannot take pullbacks in crypto, you shouldn't be in it. And at one stage, I'll be making a video like this, and we are in a bear market. So, and that's why more people lose money than not. So you have to make your own decisions, but you have to know this information. And the reason that this happens, as I've said on numerous occasions, is because they have to flush out long leverage. So here's another thing that you need to know. Really, really, really important. Exchanges now are offering insane amounts of leverage because it's easy money for them. They win. They win. You get flushed out, they win. 500x leverage. Oh, great. I'll make loads of money. Oh, I've just lost everything. The exchange wins. The exchange wins because people do not understand how quickly you can get rinsed if they're new to the market with leverage. So when people put on 500x leverage, there's no way the market's going to go continuously up and see that. They're always going to have pullbacks to rinse these out. So let's look at Perplexity asked exactly the same question in 2013. That's got 35 to 40% pullback. 2017, 30 to 40% pullback. 2020 to 2021, a 50 to 61% pullback. The price crashed from 10,500 to 4,000, the COVID crash. And then when everyone else was panicking and running out of the market, suddenly it pumped up to 20,000. This is how crypto works. So 2024 to 2025, we've already had a little bit of a pullback now. So key observations, you can look at that should you wish. Same question to ChatGPT, just to double check, and we're getting the same stats. 2012, 40% drop. 2016 to 2017, 30 to 40% pullback. 2020 to 2021, a 63% pullback. And here we're sitting on a 30, 40% retracement right now. So here's the takeaways. 30 to 40% retracements are common and healthy. Healthy, my friends, healthy. What is not healthy is all of the toxic nonsense that you're going to be listening on all sorts of platforms right now. I will say this because it's important I say this because I'm just here to report. I'm not here to advise. I do not advise. Do not ask me for advice. Do not come back at me if say you got it wrong, Adam. The bottom line is here that we all make our own decisions, but you must be in possession of this. I've often said that people in crypto, if you don't have a high risk threshold, you probably shouldn't be in it, especially for short term. But this is common. 30 to 40 retracements are common and healthy. Just re-emphasize this one sentence. This is so important. Deep corrections often precede the most explosive phases of bull runs because they want you in maximum fear and they want to flush out as many retail traders as they can so they can rinse you. And this is why over 80% of new traders to crypto and retail lose in crypto. Watching for support zones. So DeFi Llama, we always look at this so we can see the ETF inflows. Now, even as the market's absolutely rinsing, let's get in perspective. Look, a 587 million sell-off amongst a 65 million injection, a 338 million injection, a bit of selling off, a bit of selling off. But compared to last week, it's nothing. As we've shown previously, billions going in and just a few hundred million coming out. The balance of the big boys is predominantly we're in. We are in it. Now, this is an important chart. This is coinglass.com. And this is cryptocurrencies longs versus shorts. And this tells you whether people are betting on the market going up or down. The long for the up and the short for the down. And you see across exchanges that we're roughly 50-50 on Bitcoin. That there's more people, they're sort of leaning long on some exchanges and they're leaning short on the other, but it's generally fairly well balanced. That the guesses between long and shorts are fairly well balanced, possibly slight bias towards shorts at the moment. We look at 24 hours, that The 24-hour short volume is 55%. So more money's going into shorts. Now, when more money goes into shorts, there's no way the market makers are going to pay out on it and they'll bring it long. That is how it works because the house always wins. Let's go to smaller time frames. So here we are, plus 3%, plus 0.2%. So 4-hour long volume, minus 12%, but minus 20% on the 4-hour short volume. And 1 hour. Well, they seem to be opting for shorts. But again, this is just to show you where the money's going. Is it going long? Is it going short? And where is it going in? Which of these exchanges? What preferences do they have? And finally, I asked Grok, what are the biggest indicators of a big move up in the crypto market? And how are those factors aligned or not right now? So read that should you wish to. But I will just go through it. On-chain metrics, technical indicators, and sentiment and adoption, and macro and institutional. These are the factors that usually, and cycle specific things. So these aren't foolproof. Crypto's volatile and false signals occur, but combining 3+ aligning indicators historically predicts 80 to 90% of major rallies. So look at this, combining 3+ aligning indicators historically predicts 80 to 90% of major rallies. So where are we? Current alignment of those factors as of October the 17th, 2025. On-chain metrics, bullish, tick, there's one of the factors. Technical indicators, bullish, tick, that's two of the factors. Sentiment and adoption, bearish, that's not a tick. But macro and institutional, now this is an important one because this is where the big money's going in, and that is bullish, tick. Cycle specific stuff, bullish, tick. So let's go back. Let me remind you that 3+ aligning indicators historically predicts an 80 to 90% upturn in major rallies. We've got 4 out of 5 leaning bullish, my friends. So I will leave you with that because there's a lot of fear in the market right now. Now, influencers love to come in and they love when the price is pumping to say, get in at this, look at it pumping. But when everybody's in panic, this is where you really need to hold your nerve. And this is where you need to work on your psychology around this. If you have not got a high risk tolerance threshold and you are feeling strong emotion right now, then maybe crypto is not the place you should be playing, or you should be playing with far less money than you actually are. But for those who are crypto native, this is just another day at the office. Another day at the office, my lunatic friend. And that is how crypto rolls. Could we go down further? Absolutely. We could easily go down to $90,000 Bitcoin to flush everything out of the market before a massive trip up. It could even be a bear market. There is a percentage chance that that is the case. But I don't think so, my lunatic friend. I don't think so. I'm certainly not betting on that. In fact, I am staying very optimistic and hopeful with the way that things are going at the moment. And I suggest that if you're not feeling that way, then maybe you should get out and leave crypto alone and never come back. Never come back to crypto. It's too stressful. You'll need stress management. You'll need advanced stress management techniques to get you out of this, my friend. But that is my opinion for what it's worth. Definitely not financial advice. Just another lunatic sitting here, sipping tea and eating cake on the moon in the Lunar Café, my friends, in the Lunar Café. And if you've enjoyed this little ramble, then please do subscribe to the channel for more of the same. And if you want another video, you'll find that there's there. But either way, stay lunatic, have fun, and make money with crypto.